Do you know that drink you've loved for years? It might now be quietly working against you. After 65, alcohol doesn't just cloud your head, it puts real pressure on your kidneys, strains your heart, and steals the deep sleep your body depends on. What once felt harmless now lingers longer and hits harder. A study in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that even light to moderate drinking in older adults is linked to a 35% faster decline in kidney function, especially in those managing blood pressure or diabetes. And it doesn't stop there. Alcohol can disrupt sleep, clash with medications, and quietly worsen the fatigue, memory lapses, and balance problems many seniors assume are just part of aging. Hi, I'm Vernon. I've spent 25 years in geriatric nutrition, helping older adults stay strong, sharp, and independent through smarter choices. And in all that time, alcohol remains one of the most underestimated threats to healthy aging. That's why in today's Nutrition for Seniors episode, I'll walk you through 3 types of alcohol that can quietly sabotage your health and 3 better alternatives that still let you enjoy life without paying for it later. These senior health tips aren't about restriction, they're about making sure what's in your glass is still working for you, not against you. Stick around to the end. The most damaging drink on the list is still being promoted as heart healthy, and most people don't know the risks. And before we dive in, make sure to hit subscribe and turn on notifications. I'm here every day with nutrition for seniors and practical senior health tips, grounded in science and real-world experience. Now, let's begin with alcohol number 1, a drink that seems harmless, but can quietly chip away at your health. Number 1, hard liquor, too strong, too fast, too risky. Never drink. The first on the list is hard liquor, things like whiskey, vodka, rum, and gin. I recommend older adults avoid these completely. Why? Because the concentration of alcohol in hard liquor is simply too high for the aging body to handle safely. A single shot can raise your blood alcohol level faster than beer or wine, and your liver, kidneys, and brain can no longer clear it like they once did. After 65, alcohol metabolism slows down significantly. Your tolerance drops, but the effects hit harder. Worse, hard liquor dangers are amplified by common medication interactions, especially with blood pressure drugs, antidepressants, and sleep aids. This mix can lead to confusion, dizziness, or even irregular heart rhythms. A study published in Alcohol and Alcoholism found that older adults who consume spirits have significantly higher rates of medication-related adverse events, especially those with cardiovascular conditions. I remember Bill, a 72-year-old client from Oregon. He enjoyed a nightly bourbon, just 1 glass. But after starting meds for atrial fibrillation, he began experiencing dizzy spells and blacked out one evening getting up from the couch. His doctor traced it back to alcohol-medication interaction, a dangerous mix that nearly cost Bill his independence. Hard liquor also contributes to sleep disruption, worsens dehydration, and magnifies issues like constipation, dry skin, and kidney stress, all common aging body changes. And it increases the risk of instability and falls, which remain one of the leading causes of injury in seniors. If any of this sounds familiar, or if you've had a similar experience, drop a 1 in the comments. I'd love to know how alcohol's been showing up in your life lately. Some drinks don't hit hard, they sneak in sweet, and that false comfort can be even more dangerous. Number 2, sweet wine, a sugar trap in disguise. Never drink. Sometimes it's not the strength of a drink that causes harm, it's how quietly it slips beneath your radar. Susan, a former client of mine from Northern California, was 70 when we first met. Recently retired, active, and vibrant, she enjoyed a glass of sweet wine most evenings, especially during holidays or dinners with family. Nothing excessive, just a comforting ritual. But over time, she began noticing something wasn't quite right. Her energy dropped. Her blood sugar became harder to manage. Her sleep felt lighter, and her memory less sharp. As it turned out, the sweet wine she relied on to unwind was quietly making things worse. These drinks, especially the affordable, mass-produced kinds, are one of the most underestimated sweet wine risks for older adults. They're often packed with added sugar and sulfites, triggering blood sugar spikes and sharp glycemic crashes that affect not just energy but sleep quality and cognitive health. That volatility doesn't just leave you tired, it feeds systemic inflammation, which plays a major role in heart health decline, joint pain, and other aging body changes. A 2021 study in Nutrients found that high glycemic alcoholic beverages, including dessert wines and wine coolers, are linked to increased inflammatory markers and poorer metabolic function in adults over 60. So while that fruity sip may feel light and harmless, it can work silently against the organs and systems you need most as you age. Some drinks charm you with sweetness. Others wear a low alcohol label like a badge of safety. But up ahead is the one drink most seniors still believe is the safest, and that belief comes at a cost. Number 3. Beer not as light as it looks. Never drink. You might be surprised to hear this, but a 2020 study in the Journal of Nutrition, Health and Aging found that older adults who regularly drink beer are more likely to experience sleep disturbances, elevated blood pressure, and increased fall risk, even if they only consume light varieties. That's because beer, especially light beer, carries hidden health concerns many seniors don't realize. It may have less alcohol than spirits, but it's loaded with fast-burning carbs and purines. These compounds trigger inflammation, joint pain, and blood sugar spikes, all of which can quietly chip away at long-term heart health and metabolic balance. And if you're someone who's been struggling with sleep, beer might be part of the problem. Alcohol may help you fall asleep faster, but it disrupts REM and deep sleep, the stages your body needs to feel restored. I actually broke this down in more detail in a previous video called 5 Foods Help Seniors Sleep Better. Try number 4 tonight. You can find the link down in the description. Tip number 4 alone has helped many of my clients sleep through the night. For some, the change starts with just removing the one drink that's quietly working against them. And then there's Joe, 68, a former cyclist from Colorado. He used to drink 1 or 2 light beers after dinner to unwind. Nothing heavy. But over time, he noticed stiffness in his knees, frequent nighttime bathroom trips, and morning fatigue. It wasn't until he paused his beer habit for 2 weeks that everything changed: deeper sleep, less joint pain, and more energy in the morning. Moments like that are why I keep making these videos. So if this resonates, go ahead and tap the like button. Your support means more than you know. Beer health concerns may not sound dramatic, but the effects are real. From sleep disruption to fall prevention and subtle changes in aging body systems, it all adds up over time. Light beer might have gone down easy, but it quietly takes more than it gives. It's time to choose something that actually supports your body. One drink's been linked to heart health for years. Can you guess which? Number 1. Red wine. A smarter sip, better alternative. Can wine really be good for seniors? In some cases, yes, but only the right type, in the right amount, and at the right time. Red wine, especially varieties rich in natural compounds like resveratrol, has shown potential benefits for heart health, cognitive protection, and even cellular aging. Unlike spirits or sugary cocktails, red wine carries antioxidants that support circulation, reduce inflammation, and may protect blood vessels from oxidative stress. And science backs that up. A 2018 study in Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience found that low to moderate red wine intake was associated with slower cognitive decline in older adults, particularly in memory and verbal reasoning. The key? Consistency, moderation, and quality. But none of this means drink freely. After 65, your liver processes alcohol slower and your tolerance is lower. One 5-ounce glass a few times a week, ideally with food, is enough to reap the red wine benefits without tipping into risk. I think of Robert, 74, a retired language professor in Vermont. He spent decades enjoying a nightly whiskey while grading papers, a ritual more than a craving. But after 2 minor falls and rising blood pressure, he made the switch to a small glass of organic red wine with dinner, usually paired with fish or a hearty grain. Within a few weeks, he reported deeper sleep, steadier energy, and fewer mood swings. More than anything, he felt back in control, as if he was drinking with his health, not against it. For Robert, the change wasn't just what was in the glass, it was a shift in mindset. When chosen carefully, red wine can be more than a habit, it can become a tool for healthy aging. But what if you could take everything good about red wine and make it even gentler, even smarter? That's exactly what the next option does. Number 2, wine spritzers. The elegant dilution, better alternative. There comes a point where you don't want to give up the moment, just the impact it leaves behind. I've worked with so many older adults who say the same thing. I still want to enjoy something in the evening, but I don't want it to cost me my sleep or my balance. How about you? Have you found a version of your favorite drink that feels better now than it did 10 years ago? If so, I'd love to read about it in the comments. You might just inspire someone else watching this. Barbara, one of my former clients in Virginia, felt exactly that. At 69, she loved her nightly glass of wine, not for the buzz, but for the pause. That sense of exhalation after a long day. But after a routine checkup showed rising blood pressure and signs of kidney strain, her doctor gently suggested cutting back. She didn't want to stop completely, and she didn't have to. That's when she discovered wine spritzers. Just a small pour of wine, diluted with sparkling water, topped with a citrus slice. It felt celebratory, not restrictive. And within weeks, she noticed she was sleeping better, waking up clearer, and no longer feeling foggy in the mornings. Wine spritzers work especially well for seniors because they match where your body is now, not where it was at 40. Lower alcohol means less strain on your liver, more hydration, and better support for your heart health and sleep quality. They're also naturally slower to sip, which means you stay present, balanced, and far less likely to overdo it even in social settings. For Barbara, this wasn't a downgrade. It was an intentional shift. She didn't lose the ritual. She just upgraded how it served her body. And finally, there's one option I recommend the most, not because it replaces alcohol, but because it restores something deeper. Number 3, kombucha, the gut. Friendly alternative, better alternative. It's not always that you feel sick, it's that something inside you just doesn't feel fully balanced anymore. Maybe you're more tired after meals, or you wake up without clarity, even after what felt like a decent night's sleep. You might feel a little heavier, a little slower, or notice that your mood shifts more than it used to. Most people assume that's just age catching up, but in many cases, it begins in your gut. As we grow older, subtle aging body changes affect how we digest food, absorb nutrients, and manage the bacteria in our intestines. Those changes can quietly impact energy levels, sleep quality, mental clarity, and even the body's ability to manage inflammation. That's where kombucha can make a real difference, not as a trend, but as a gentle, useful everyday support. Made from tea, live cultures, and a touch of sugar, kombucha provides probiotics, B vitamins, and organic acids that help restore gut balance. Let me tell you about Janice, a retired nurse from Michigan who came to me at age 71 with daily bloating and low afternoon energy. She had stopped drinking alcohol years ago but still felt like something inside her just wasn't working in sync anymore. I made one small change. Half a glass of kombucha with lunch just a few times a week. No other diet changes. After 2 weeks, she noticed her digestion was smoother and she no longer needed a nap just to make it through the afternoon. By the 4th week, she said this: "For the first time in years, I feel like my body and mind are finally cooperating again." The kombucha advantages aren't about trendiness or taste, they're about restoring the system's alcohol slowly wears down over time. This isn't about restriction or guilt, it's about giving your body something it can actually use to stay resilient. Some drinks numb the body, others weigh it down, but this one quietly helps it work the way it was meant to. And sometimes, the smallest change, done consistently and with care, can shift your entire experience of aging. We've covered a lot today, and now it's time to bring it all together with clarity and care. If you're over 65, the alcohol your body once tolerated may now be quietly undermining your strength and clarity. The 3 types I recommend avoiding are hard liquor, sweet wines, and light beers, each for specific, science-backed reasons. They may seem mild on the surface, but they can trigger hidden inflammation, poor sleep, and dangerous medication reactions. In their place, I've suggested 3 better alternatives: red wine in moderation, wine spritzers, and low-alcohol kombucha. Each of these supports a different part of your health, from your heart to your gut to your cognitive clarity. They're not perfect, and they're not magic, but they give more than they take, and that's what matters most. You've worked hard to get to this stage of life now. It's time to protect the years you've earned. What's one drink you've stopped, or one change that's helped you feel more in control lately? Share it in the comments below. Your story matters here, and it just might empower someone else watching. If this video helps you think differently, hit the like button. It shows me you're ready to take action. Subscribe and turn on the bell, because every day, I'll be here with new strategies for sharper, stronger, longer living. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.